Good day and very warm welcome to this meditation experience. Always delighted that you choose to join and take this time for yourself at a very deep level of self-care. And I was remembering today with this particular topic we'll explore, which is really about true wealth. Um, you know, you may not know actually, but in this birth, the last name is Rich, which actually is an anglicized choice. I won't even say translation. As many of us, our heritage is migrants, immigrants coming to the country, and they have to anglicize their name at the port of entry. When I say the actual name, I might just land up spitting on you because it's a German Yiddish hybrid, but it's Rachenbach, which I'm sure I didn't say right. But it translates as golden stream. And then they anglicized it to rich. I'm so glad because I can't see myself in grade one being able to actually say or spell Rachenbach. So it just became rich. Now you can imagine growing up with this name, how many people, I mean, total strangers, you're at the store and they see your credit card, the last name, they say, "Oh, it's Rich." And they'd always say, "Oh, and are you rich?" And feel that they're very original, that they're the first ones who came up with this. So I was constantly being asked, "Are you rich?" And I remember for very long, very simple upbringing, not wealthy at all. Everything was provided for, of course, but I wouldn't call it rich. So I'd always sort of joke back saying, "No, not really. It's just a name." But then coming into a spiritual practice and really starting to appreciate what true wealth is, starting to realize, wow, I now know at least how to become rich or wealthy. And this very interesting thing happening, first off, that true wealth, of course, is not temporary or visible, physical. True wealth is really sustainable stuff that you take with you. So it's actually in your own being. So this is going to shift my focus from outcomes, which is how we usually think of wealth, to income. But the other piece that's really interesting about true wealth and how hungry everyone is that we want wealth, but we don't actually know what we need in order to get what we want. So we don't quite understand wealth for one thing, but we also don't quite understand how to focus to get true wealth. So knowing what we need to get what we want to be wealthy. We want to be rich. We want to be very comfortable, feel very full, abundant, prosperous, and we're using physical things to get that experience. So first, that's kind of off track. That can go at any time. But if we're looking at non-physical wealth, what is that? And what will I need to do to get it? So let's see if we can explore that idea. What do I need to get what I want? I was once told, you want money and you want it bad. So it seems that that's common for many of us. But no, what we want is wealth, and you should have wealth. But what is it? What is true wealth? Sitting comfortably, and again, eyes might be open if I choose to experiment. I go inside to have an honest conversation with myself. I have many thoughts in the day, speak many words, and perform many actions. What is driving everything I do during the day? What is my objective? What do I hope to achieve through all this activity? What I think and say and do? What am I hoping for? And if this is an honest conversation, and I'm able to drill right down to the seed, what's motivating everything I do, I will see it's one thing. Every thought, word, and deed is in some way connected to a seeking of personal value. I want to feel valuable. That love and regard of feeling valuable is driving everything I do. We might call it the image, we might call it ego, but it's the seeking of personal value. And yes, I've been trying to get it in really all the wrong places. Things that are outside of myself, even though it's self-worth. I am trying to attain worth outside of myself, which of course makes no sense, but I'm now addicted to doing that. I try to do it through relationships, try to get it in the eyes of others, their approval. I try to do it through possessions, accumulating stuff. I try to get it through positions or status, whether at work or any other interaction I find myself in. And I even try to get it through the body. Am I valuable at the level of physical image? All of these things are outside of myself because I'm not even really this body. Again, if I have that honest conversation, quiet moment with myself, I will feel I'm actually inside here, as if looking out through the windows of the eyes. So what is real personal value, self-worth? It obviously will be in the self. Some might call it character, some nature, some integrity, having to do with the self. Rather than going outside, I start to come inside. Rather than outcomes, I start to look at income. Am I, the being, rich? My very being, is it rich, wealthy with invisible spiritual treasures? The most sought after resources or treasures in the world are all spiritual. We try to go through them physically, but they're all spiritual things like peace, love, kindness, compassion, forgiveness, appreciation, integrity. These are the most sought after resources in the world, and they can never be found outside. They can only be found in the human soul. We refer to them as the greatness of the human spirit. Moments of greatness is when we exhibit these qualities, especially if under pressure or challenged. That is true wealth, to cultivate and grow these resources within myself. And it's very easy to become rich in this way. It just will require my attention, investing in these resources. Step one is to experience them or unlock them. And step two is to use them. And if I use them when they are challenged, I will really accumulate a lot of wealth. Step one, unlocking or experiencing the treasure. For example, the most sought after resource, peace. Within me is an unlimited reservoir of peace. It's constantly there, always there, waiting to be tapped into, like some sort of diamond or gold underground. It does require I turn inwards, and even if only for 1 second, release my incredible grip on worldly thoughts. Let go. The moment the fingers of my mind begin to release their deep attachment on some issue or past event or concern or problem, the minute my mind can let go, I will absolutely experience relief, calm, serenity. Even if only for a second, I have unlocked that capacity. If I'm very intentional and do something called meditation, where I try to sustain that experience of stepping outside the rhythm of day-to-day life, focusing on thoughts that help me to let go of the worldly, then I will have more time experiencing that reservoir of peace within, letting it flow into the vessel of my mind, deeply imprint on my being. I am a being of peace. And if I can tap into that experience during the day, while in a traffic jam, while in a challenging conversation, while facing a problem or issue as I walk and move around. If I can emerge at that moment, the experience, I am a being of peace, just with awareness. I have just become more rich, increased my wealth. Let me experiment today with wealth accumulation, experiencing those deeply sought after resources and using them in my day-to-day life. Then I will really be rich. Om Shanti. Thank you so much for joining.